One sound and you'll be back in the 90s. Close your eyes for a second. Actually don't. You need to keep reading. But just imagine this. You are sitting in your bedroom. The carpet is slightly too thick. The curtains are doing too much. There is a computer in the corner that weighs roughly the same as a small car and hums like it is genuinely working hard just to exist. And then it begins. Beep, buzz, screech, static, negotiate, screech again, click. Connected. That sound. That one ridiculous, ear-splitting, completely unforgettable sound just transported you somewhere, didn't it? That is what the 1990s does to you. It doesn't need a photo. It doesn't need a film. It just needs a sound. And suddenly you are 12 years old again, sitting in front of a screen that takes 4 minutes to load a single web page, and you are completely and utterly delighted about it. I'm Reto, and today we are going through the sounds of the 1990s that you forgot you remembered, until right now. Sound 1. The dial-up internet connection. Let's start with the big one. The dial-up modem sound is arguably the most recognizable sound of the entire decade. That sequence of beeps, screeches, and static that played every single time you tried to connect to the internet through your telephone line. It sounded like two robots trying to shake hands while one of them was having a medical emergency. And yet, every person who grew up in the 1990s will tell you that hearing it today fills them with something that can only be described as warm. The dial-up process had two distinct parts. First, the dialing of the number, and then a series of negotiation sounds designed to ensure that the modem was working and speaking the correct language to connect you to the internet. You didn't understand any of that at the time. You just sat there listening to the noise and praying that nobody picked up the phone in the other room, because that would end everything immediately, and you would have to start the whole 4-minute process again. The dial-up sound is so beloved that there are YouTube videos of it that last 10 hours. 10 hours. People play it while they sleep. That is what nostalgia does to a sound that was genuinely annoying at the time. Sound 2. You've got mail. 3 words. 3 simple words. And if you heard them in the right voice right now, you would feel something in your chest that you were not expecting to feel today. The "You've Got Mail" greeting was voiced by a man named Elwood Edwards. His wife worked for the company that became AOL, and in 1989 she volunteered his voice. He recorded the phrases on a cassette deck in his living room. It was digitized into the software as a test and simply never changed. A man recorded 3 words on a cassette in his living room, and those 3 words became the sound of an entire generation discovering electronic mail for the first time. When email was completely new, hearing "You've got mail" brought the same level of excitement that getting a package delivered to your door brings today. You had mail. Someone had written to you. Electronically, through the computer, through the phone line. It felt like the actual future arriving in your house on a Tuesday afternoon, and it was magnificent. Sound 3. The AOL Instant Messenger door. If you used AOL Instant Messenger in the 1990s, you know exactly which sound this is. AIM had a number of iconic notification sounds, including a door opening when one of your friends came online and a door closing when they left. That little door opening sound meant that someone you wanted to talk to had just arrived. It was the digital equivalent of hearing your friend knock at the front door. You would be doing something else entirely, and then you would hear the door open, and suddenly, that was the most important thing happening in your life at that moment. The door closing meant they had gone offline. Maybe they had to have dinner. Maybe their mom needed the phone line back. Either way, that sound had a specific loneliness to it that no app notification has ever replicated since. A door closing. Gone. Talk tomorrow. AIM was discontinued in 2017. The door is permanently closed now, and somehow that is sadder than it should be. Sound 4. The ICQ uh-oh. If AOL Instant Messenger was the mainstream choice, then ICQ was for the people who found it slightly before everyone else and never let anyone forget it. ICQ launched in 1996 and was one of the very first instant messaging services available to regular people. And its notification sound was one of the strangest and most memorable decisions in the history of technology. Someone at ICQ decided that the sound to alert you to a new message should be a small voice saying, "Uh-oh," not a chime, not a beep, not anything that sounds like a professional product, a tiny voice. saying, "Uh-oh," as if the message itself was mildly concerned about being sent. Nobody questioned this. Millions of people installed it. And to this day, hearing "uh-oh" in the right tone of voice will send certain people in their 30s and 40s immediately back to 1997, sitting at a family computer wondering who had just messaged them. Sound 5. The Windows 95 startup sound. In 1995, Microsoft released Windows 95 and commissioned a startup sound to play every time the operating system loaded. They asked Brian Eno, one of the most respected ambient music composers in the world, to create it. Brian Eno wrote a piece of music specifically designed to be heard at the beginning of something. Something that felt like opening, like possibility, like today could be a good day. He wrote it on a Mac because he did not own a Windows computer. The result was 6 seconds long. 6 seconds of ascending chimes that told you the computer was ready. That you could begin. That the machine had woken up and was prepared to help you do whatever it was you were about to spend the next 4 hours doing instead of your homework. If you are old enough to remember Windows 95, you can hear that sound right now without it being played. It is simply there, stored somewhere in your memory next to your first email address and the name of your best friend's ICQ number. Sound 6. The Nokia ringtone. In 1994, Nokia released a ringtone for their mobile phones based on a guitar piece composed in 1902 by a Spanish musician named Francisco Tárrega. Nokia called it Grande Valse. Everyone else called it the Nokia tune. And by the late 1990s, it was the most heard piece of music on Earth. Not because people chose it particularly, but because it was the default, and most people never changed the default. So everywhere you went on the bus, in the shop, at school, in the cinema, at the exact wrong moment you heard those 7 notes. Da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. At its peak, it was estimated that the Nokia tune was heard approximately 1.8 billion times per day worldwide. Every single day, 1.8 billion times. Francisco Tárrega wrote a guitar piece in 1902, and in the 1990s, it briefly became the most frequently heard melody in human history. He would have had thoughts about this if he had not died in 1909 that made them feel responsible for a digital creature that did not exist. And they were absolutely devastated when it died, every single time. And those are the sounds of the 1990s that you forgot you remembered. The dial-up screech, the "you've got mail," the door opening and closing, the "uh-oh," the Windows startup, the Nokia tune, the Tamagotchi beep. You did not know you still had all of those stored somewhere until just now, did you? That is what the 1990s does. It hides in sounds, and it waits. And then one day it comes back and you are 12 years old again and everything is a little bit simpler and a little bit slower and a little bit more exciting than it is right now. Which sound hit you the hardest? Tell us in the comments below. We genuinely want to know. Share this with someone who still remembers their ICQ number. And like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a rewind. I'm Reto, and this has been your Rewind.